start taking these apart here. Ugh. My hands look horribly discolored in here. See if we can change that. The jacket looks fine. It's getting a lot of reflection in my hands, I think. I'll turn the lights down a little bit. A little bit better. And get these all taken apart. Oh God, there's so much tape on this. Sweet baby Jesus. All right, we gotta get that off if we can. See if we can't fix these laces too towards the end of it. I'm gonna try something to try and get like an end back onto it. End back onto it. But right now we're currently my wife's league is kind of in the off season. They start practice up here soon again after the holidays. But with that, we'll do some skate maintenance. I actually worked on my wife's skates and then another pair of skates earlier, or at the end of last week. This is just a lot of duct tape here. And unfortunately, the lacing's just kind of shredded, so it's just all stuck in it. Also kind of looks like it's been this way for a good minute. So plan is to take the wheels off, pull the bearings out, clean the bearings out, clean the wheels off, clean the frames off, put some leather conditioning on the boot. I already got that off. Step one. I don't know if even she's got these laced up pretty normal. I'm not super worried about the look of those. But what we'll do is take a picture of the laces so I can kind of put them back in the same way as they were. All right, one skate down there. Very last eyelet she has slightly different from inside to outside, or outside to inside, and back outside in this last eyelet. Yeah. No. What kind of music I have in the background all of this. I guess you got no music on this one. There's something really satisfying about you take a bearing and just kind of listen to it and spin it and see how well it spins and smooth it spins, or how bad it spins when you first start cleaning them, and then having like the outcome at the end where the bearing sounds nice and smooth, spins for a long time. Like there's just a nice satisfaction with that. All right, other lace out. Get both laces out right now. We're going to get the wheels off now. So right now, these are pretty good. I cleaned this set of skates probably 6 months ago. They still sound pretty good. Pretty good. This one's just dirty. Look at that. That's dirty. Kind of sounds like an 18-wheeler going on the freeway. All right. Get some of those cleaned off. I'm going to try going back to autofocus here, see how well that works. That's really bright, isn't it? We're looking at skates. Focus. Bearings don't look too bad. In there. Not too bad. Some of them got a little dirt and grit in there. But we'll get them cleaned out. Let's get the other skate out. Also added the chat function in the stream, OBS stream. So for next year's roller derby games, if someone does comment on the stream, it will actually show up on the screen, which I didn't have previously. And I just kind of recently got it more configured and ready to go. There's still a few more things I want to change with it. But it's not focusing. It's focusing right there. There we go. All right. She also had the set of black wheels on the left outside skate, left skate outside. We got 2 different sets of bearings. Unheard of. These definitely are a little bit newer, I think, cleaner. All right, pop these out. These look like nice ceramic bearings. All right. Find one more thing. Right back. So if you do find sometimes the bearings do get pretty wedged in the wheel. If you do come into that issue, a lot of times this one will come out easier. I don't know if it's just because it's not as far in the well, but sometimes what you can do is just simply take something which is the right diameter, because you don't want to push, you don't want to unnecessarily push on the actual bearings on the inside. You want to do the focus. I'm at my minimum focus, aren't I? There you go. Because you don't want to push on the actual bearings themselves. You want to push on the outer ring. So, but 2 ways of doing that is sometimes push from the inside out. or getting a socket that is the right size that will actually feed through there and punch it out. Hello there.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. I thought I saw you pop in my room.
I did walk by. All right. The last bearing there. We'll get another towel to set these bearings on. Get that.
That wasn't terrible. We should probably do kind of the same plan.
All right, next thing I'm going to do is pull the seal out of all these. Most of these will either have a double or a single one. All of these have a single. This one, I don't know if I can even pull them apart. We'll see. But this one's got this rubber seal right here that will pop out. So when we put it in the cleaner, it will help allow the dirt and grime to fall out of there. This one, I don't know if these come apart. Definitely some grime in there though. Yeah, these are like, these ones seem to be pressed in, and they're probably not made to come out, is my guess. So I don't think we'll be able to do anything with those. So those 4 brass colored ones we'll leave out. This one will stay. So I use a small dental pick. Just go right on the inside of the bearing, get underneath it, and then pop it out just like that. And set those aside. And I'll put those in the cleaner also, just to get any kind of grease and stuff off of them. Try not to like damage them, but sometimes you get a little spot. Sometimes you have to press them flat again too. Checking focus here. I'm pretty much at the minimum focus distance. So there's only a certain area that this will actually focus on. This one you can kind of look. It's kind of pressed in a little too far right here, which is causing it to kind of probably sit on the actual bearings a little bit, causing some friction. last one of those. There we go. So we got all bearings separated. So we can get those in the cleaner. Go get the basket. All right, we're going to put those all in the basket. All right, get those ready. What you're going to go do is go out to the garage now and put those in the ultrasonic cleaner. Turn that down. The question is, does my audio reach all the way out there? So we got this. All right, we're going to go change views to the garage, and we'll see if that works here. I'll be out there in just a sec.
Is this your bulb gun?
Question is, does my wireless phone reach all the way out to the garage? Sounds absolutely terrible. This is an old phone. We're going to mute. Back to the skates now. We get those started. I think while we're doing that, I'm just gonna work on leather conditioning these, cleaning these up first before I go into washing the wheels. I'll do the wheels here in a minute. I'll get a brush here. And a toothbrush. All right. So now what we're going to focus on is getting the frames cleaned off, getting some leather conditioner on the boot. Debate if I want to take this off or not. I usually don't like taking off the front brake just because, or the stop just because a lot of times they don't tighten back up very well and you got to use Loctite and everything on them. So I'm going to try and get some residual dirt and stuff off here. And then we're just going to use some Windex. Not Windex, but just window cleaner to try and clean up some of the gunk and stuff off of it. Some dust and stuff on there. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, need to go get some Q-tips and a few other things to clean that up. All right, Q-tips. All right. We just got a cloth to kind of wipe down the frame. We got some good old glass cleaner. Pretty simple, but it does a nice job of just kind of getting into places and cleaning everything off, along with a Q-tip to get in some of these harder spots. Corners here. I also like to use the brush just to kind of scrub it down around things. And I'll wipe it all off. A little bit in there. Some dirt and grime all around there. around the trucks. And usually too, I just use kind of like a Q-tip, or not a Q-tip, but a dental pick that's got a bigger end on it to be able to just move the cloths around into some of the tighter spots. And dental picks are just kind of a super handy thing for what I do for cleaning stuff. And just having it around the house, and you get a set from Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. And they're pretty helpful. Get around the nuts there. Cleaned up. Get the other side. Hi there. How you doing?
Good, I'm just being nosy.
You winning in there? Still working on flange skates. So the bearings are in the cleaner right now. So now I'm just doing wipe down. That corner there. I think it was the back right here. One side looks good. There we go. Get that. Get around those a little bit. A little bit dirt there. They both look pretty good. That one looks pretty good. You hair. A little bit easier to get to the front of these just because the toe guard isn't on there. Go check on the bearings. See how those are doing. Still going. 19 minutes. Just under 20 minutes to go. All right. Need more hair. Get off there. Use the cloth to move around a little bit. These recess areas. On the axles. Q-tip sometimes a little bit better right here. One, because I don't want to scrape the aluminum too much, or at all really. Sometimes getting in the tight corners, Q-tip's a little bit easier. Around there. A little bit of dirt on there, but I think I got most of the dirt around this area pretty well with the cloth. That's pretty decent at this point. I'll flip over to this side. I give a good wipe down. I don't think this really changes anything when it comes to the longevity of your skates lasting, but definitely looks a whole lot nicer. Just having a nice clean set of skates. The bearings for sure does help, but the frame itself, I don't think that does a whole lot for benefiting. If you get something corrosive on them, it could probably cause some pitting to the aluminum, but most of the time, I don't think, unless you're outside skating or something, you're not going to have too much chemicals or anything around the skates. I did the inside already on that one. Now, what are we testing? Actually not testing anything, really just the other side of the community of like people generally that I live stream for is roller derby, so skates are kind of relevant to that. And that this would be the third set of skates I've kind of done a clean and overhaul with. I try to clean my wife's skates, but every like quarter or so roughly, if not every 6 months, to get hers cleaned up. So, other than seeing how the chat function works with the Social Stream Ninja, so you can highlight stuff. What does that want to do? What does that want? So we do right here. There we go. Oh, it cuts it off. All right, how do I fix that? So there's a test right there. How do you fix the chat select? Make it bigger. No, that doesn't work. Alt, expand it. Is it cut off? Nope, it's not cut off. Interesting. Well, it's good to know if it's a longer chat. It's cut off a little bit there. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get the laces back in the proper way. These laces are a mess. And it took me 20 minutes just to get the duct tape off of it. But we'll see if I can do something to get this back to like a normal lace and like that. We'll see. How much time on the bearings we got left? 12 minutes. Oh, they figured out the function of the smiley faces. Let's try to get around this a little bit. It's looking pretty good for the frames. Bottom this a little more. Pretty good. All right, we'll move on to some leather conditioning here. So I got Leather Therapy, which is just a restore conditioner for leather. It's not, I had some other stuff previously that I liked better, but this still works pretty well. It's just really messy. It makes the skate stupid glossy though for a while until it soaks in. There's one done. Kind of X this. Right, I can get to the front of the boot. With this boot, the skate's got a toe guard on it. It's loose enough where I can get in there and still apply the leather conditioner and leather condition the boot too, or the toe stop, not the toe stop, the toe guard. Can't really get fully between this just because it's stitched into the back of the skate right there. Got a little bit in there though. All right. There we go. Those are all leather condition now. Move that off to the side. I'll wash my hands real quick too. Actually, we need to move on to washing the wheels. I think is the next step. Let's put the leather conditioner away, and we'll switch to getting the wheels all to the sink and get those washed. So we'll get that set up. Go check on that. We got 2 minutes left. Might go check those out here shortly. Check on the bearings, see what the water looks like. These will be next because these need a good scrubbing. Definitely. Where's that one? It's super dirty. All right, put those away. And we'll go get the sink ready. Hey, buddy. All right, we're gonna move to wash some wheels. So we're gonna move into bathroom sink. So leave that camera up for the moment. Finish filling the sink up. Alrighty. So we're gonna move, take the wheels, and head to the bathroom to do that. So I'm gonna go to the mobile cam again. You get to see the cat eating food. It's exciting. Unexpected pickles cam. She watches me throw wheels in the water. Oh yeah, battery's dying. Time to plug it in. Audio died. Let's go to this right here. Plug this in. So what happened was my audio died. So I'm just gonna plug it in. There we go. And we're charging. Good. Back to mobile cam. All right. Now I got the audio sorted out. Let's finish cleaning. I like to always do whatever the last thing I scrubbed with first on the next wheel. For example, this scrubby, and then transition to whatever's next after that. And then whatever I end with, I start with the next wheel for efficiency. Pretty sure I did that one twice with the little scrubber. That's pretty good. Last wheel. And last one. Quick scrub inside where the burring goes. Should be good. All right. That's pretty good. them off real quick. All right. Back into here. Get better cloth to put the wheels down on. All right. Do this. Let those dry off. All right, let those dry. Let's see. We need to grab the bearings. All right, we're gonna go back to the mobile camera out in the garage. That way we can finish up the bearings and clean those up the rest of the way. So we'll switch cameras, and I'm gonna switch my audio to the mobile camera since my wireless mic doesn't reach out there. Be out there in a sec. All right, back inside. Got our bearings all oiled. Where am I? My four. There we go. All right. Now what we're going to do, I need to go back out in the garage and grab the oil. Just put a light coat on all of these before we put them back in there. I'm going to do that. So let me go get that oil real quick. All right. The oil, we got a small container. We'll fill that up. Another Tupperware container that my wife knows or doesn't know I'm using. We'll get a Q-tip. What we'll do is just put a light coat on the inside of all these. So if they do come in contact with the bearings at all, there's a little bit of lubrication between them. All right, with that. All right, those are back there. What we need to do is just kind of put all those back on the bearings. With that, I'm going to use a little T-handle wrench here, because this kind of fits. Which one is it? This kind of fits just about right to kind of just pop these into place. So let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. What I'm going to do is we're going to add these. Push those off to the side real quick. Take the first one. Take that. Pop that in real nice like. And what we're looking for is making sure we don't depress it down into the bearing where it actually is touching the bearing. And it's still free floating in there. That one looks good. It just has a real nice kind of little snap right into place. That was a little wonky. We'll see if we can't flatten that one out in a little bit. That one went a little too far. No. That's pretty good. No, it popped right in by itself. And the 4 ceramic bearings did not have a backing to them. So there's an open face on those 4 there. All right, so we got all those in. All right. What's going on, Joe? How you doing? This is not FPV or drone related. But one of the other things I do is live stream my wife's roller derby games, and then with that comes maintenance on all the skates and everything like that, which my wife does not necessarily like to do too much. So I kind of take the role in that. These are actually not my wife's skates. These are actually one of her teammates' skates. So just kind of getting them cleaned up during the off season. And I don't know, tinkering is fun. Yeah, I really enjoy taking apart the bearings. They're just kind of a nice, just having a nice smooth bearing sound and getting all the grit and dirt out of them kind of is really satisfying at the end of it. And one thing I don't know, YouTube allows you to do playlists. So you can have, I have a derby playlist. My audio is so high right now, I just noticed that. YouTube has a playlist section, so you can kind of, during the live stream, put it in a particular section. So I did roller derby, so I don't know if that really kind of targets certain people or kind of like puts it out there differently than everything else. But I need to make like an FPV or drone playlist also, just so if I'm doing separate things, I can kind of key it into the right area it should be. All right. Wheels look pretty dry. So I think we can start putting bearings back in those. I might dry them out a little bit with rubbing alcohol. All right, we're going to just take this cloth, put a little bit of rubbing alcohol on it, and just kind of take it and just wipe it in where the bearings go, just to make sure if there's any residual water in there, it dries it up, just so it's not sitting on the outside of the bearing and might cause surface rust or something if it sits on the bearing. All right. With that done, start popping these back in. The method I like best they make bearing presses. And I think the issue I find with the bearing presses is if they're not aligned properly, you end up just kind of forcing it in there, which can cause some issues. So I like just using a socket that's big enough to push on the outer rim of the bearing, and we'll just seat it in there pretty properly. And then you can kind of just tilt it and angle it until you kind of feel where it pops in. This set of skates are pretty easy. They're not in there very tight, but the worst I found is the wheels that have an aluminum hub are not very forgiving, and then obviously like you can't really force that in there, otherwise you're going to damage the hub or the bearing or both. I'll pop. Always install them where the cap is on the outside and the more exposed area is on the inside. Help keep dirt out there. I assume that's probably right. All right, bearings are all back in the wheels. All right, I think now we can get the wheels back on. We'll take cloth, light coat of oil here. I'm just going to go on each of the axles here. Clean them off, put a little light coat of oil on them. All right, get the wheels back on. Let's start with left skate outside, as that was the two black wheels there. So we'll get those on here first. That way we don't have to worry about those. Got the nylon locking nuts. So I put these on until obviously free spinning, but there's like a light wiggle with the wheel. Sometimes you don't get it. So a little wiggle, no resistance. Those two feel pretty good. So we put the right size on there. No wiggle. Back it off just a little bit. There we go. No wiggle. There's a little wiggle. We're back. All right, heating up coffee. Those look like they're spinning pretty well. Pausing to get coffee right now. We're reheating my coffee. It's been sitting for an hour and a half. All right, those spun pretty well. So we got those 4 wheels on. We're gonna wait to lace here in a second because I'm gonna fix one of the laces, or hopefully fix them. So let's do the second wheel here. A little wiggle. Sound goes away. Back it off just a little bit. There you go. All right. Pretty good. Last 2 wheels. God, my hand looks shiny. Good Lord. All right. Those all sound pretty good. All right, so clean up our workspace a little bit here. Get rid of the Q-tips. All right, we're satisfied with that. So both skates are done. So the next thing we're going to do, and the last thing I think we're going to do, when it comes to repairs, or try to repair, is the end to her one random lace. So obviously the other laces are still, that's not going to focus, is it? It's so bright too. These ones are still good. They got the ends on them. These two, as you can tell, are quite frayed. I may have to cut a little bit off to redo it, but I think my plan to try and fix these is trim some of this off, burn it to get it kind of a little bit harder from what it used to be, and then get some electrical shrink tape along with some super glue, put a little bit of super glue on it, put the heat shrink tape over it, shrink it, and then hopefully let it dry and see how well that works. May or may not work. Hey, Pickles. Meow, meow. So we'll see what that does. So what we need is super glue, heat shrink tape, and some scissors. We got some scissors, super glue somewhere, I think. Maybe. We got tape. Step one, super glue. Super glue. I think I remember where I put it. Yes, successful. It's so good. Super glue. And shrink tubing. Right, and we added a lighter to what we need. So we got super glue, scissors, a lighter, and we have some shrink tubing. So I think size-wise, probably be that one, 1/8 inch. Move these temporarily. All right. So unfortunately, the end of it will no longer be brightly colored and unicornish. It's just going to be this black plain color. But what I'm going to do is just cut a couple of these same size as this. One. Two of those. All right. I'm going to cut some of this extra off. These scissors suck. Oh God, that's what I'm worried about. I need tape. as soon as I started cutting it, these little threads of what looks like glitter started going everywhere. So we're just going to take this and wrap that up so it doesn't all go crazy everywhere. Already did a little bit, unfortunately. That's life. So now let's see what this stuff does with fire. All right, let's turn the lighter up a little bit. I just turned it down the other day because it was insane. There we go. Oh God, that's flammable, that's for sure. Try and get it down just so I can get the shrink tubing on it. I might have to go bigger. That is some thick lace. All right, 3/16 of an inch. Maybe that's better. So I'll remeasure a couple of them here again. Hey. There we go. A little test fit there. That fits pretty well. All right. So I think what we're going to do now is coat this in a little bit of super glue. Oh God, super glue's on his last leg. It is like, ugh. I'm going to coat this to maybe help the shrink wrap tubing just adhere to it once it's tight and make it stay. Not sure if I actually do anything or not, but we'll find out. So we're going to put the tubing on the end right there. Oh, it's a little hot. What I don't want, what I think is going to happen, I did this to another set, but I didn't put the super glue on it. So I think the shrink tubing is just eventually going to slide off without the super glue. But I think by adding the super glue, that might work pretty well. So we'll do that on the other end too. Same thing, we're just going to kind of wrap this so I don't get threads of this shit everywhere. Ow, ow. There we go, that should work. Yep, that'll be good. Now, same thing, we'll get the super glue. Oh God, this is, I think I'm just gonna throw this away when we're done. This is a giant mess, going everywhere. Yeah, apply some super glue to this. Put the shrink tubing on there. And shrink it up a little bit. Probably borderline not safe is hitting this with open flame after putting super glue on it, because I would imagine super glue is flammable. I've never tried lighting it on fire. I would guess it does. Watch, what I didn't check to see if this actually fits through the eyelets in the boot. Because thickness wise, that's significantly thicker. But that hardened up really good. So as long as it fits through the boot, we'll be good. If it doesn't fit through the boot, we're back to square one. Why is there a knot right here? How does that happen? There you go. So that's the question. Let's get a boot up here and see if it fits. All right. Fortune left one's also the one that had the boot guard on it. So does it fit through laces? It does not. We failed. We have failed a simple task of checking to see if something fits before we do it. I wonder if we can shrink that anymore. Maybe. But unlikely. So trying to get that a little bit smaller to fit through the eyelets. Almost. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a bugger to get that through there if I have to. See if we can shrink it up and smush it down just a little bit. Ow! Holy pork chop sandwiches, that's hot. I'm gonna try. Yeah, probably do the same thing with the other side of this lace, because it's not very small either. Try and get this a little bit smaller too. All right. Don't know. Give it a try. We'll see if we can lace that all up, but what I'm afraid of is it's gonna be really hard to get this laced up. Especially through that. That's not gonna work. It's already bunch it up. All right. Failed that. With that super glue's on there pretty good too. Well, the super glue hardened it up pretty well for being old still, so that's a positive. I think what we're going to do, take two, I'm going to do the same method, but we're going to cut about half of the lace off to make it not as thick, and then it can kind of taper. Yeah, super glue worked pretty well. Pliers. Or the wrong pliers for this, since they're the pliers for came with the 3D printer. I'm really surprised on how hard the super glue got so fast. It worked pretty well. Yeah, mastered that. All right. So what we're going to try and do is just cut this lace in half, just a little bit. We don't have quite as much, quite as thick of a, maybe not even half. There we go, just like that. Just so the very beginning is a little bit narrower, just like that. There we go. So now we have a much narrower spot. We could probably use the smaller, yep, tape. I'll burn that a little bit. Try and get this little extra piece melted and inside the tape. There we go. Just like that. Get the super glue again. Do it in the trash. Now I'm sorting through the trash to find super glue. Oh, no, it bounced out. We're good. Alright, we're just gonna coat this some super glue. Like that. There we go. Put this small piece of shrink tubing on. All the way to the lace right there. Push that on a little bit. There we go. That looks good. And hit with fire. Oh, I want to light it on fire. It's pretty hot from pretty far away. Super glue on there. Now on my fingers. Alright, I think that worked pretty well. That's what I would call a success. So we're going to do the same thing with this side. that. Okay, it's on fire. Mush it together there. All right, looks pretty good. Hit with super glue. Maybe. All right. What I know is there's a ton of super glue on the inside here. We just rake this through it. There we go. So much super glue. All right. And we're same thing, shrink tubing over top of that. There we go. A little extra we're just going to wipe off there. All right. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So new replacement ends for the skates. I think that'll work. All right, and we still got glitter everywhere. All right, there we go. Oh, it doesn't work. So here's obviously the issue with this chat is it doesn't fit because it's too long. So how do you change that? Penning between messages, compact mode, visibility, color names when available. I don't think that does anything. Overlay. Styling. Ooh, I bet I know. What's the size of the chat? Select. Let's go to settings in the chat. Oh, we have 480. Let's do that. Let's go 800 by 600. Size. Move the chat. Oh, chat select. Try your select again. There we go. Now we can Alt hold, crop that down to right there, or Control Z. We'll leave it that big. There we go. We'll try that. I know you used duct tape previously, and it was a terrible thing to take off. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll keep that the way that is. Get rid of your chat. Now the test is done. I can actually see a whole chat. All right, I think we're ready to lace skates back up. Left skate has the rainbow fart colored lace, so go back with that. It fits through there pretty well. One spot wants to be a pain in the butt. I think we'll get that through there though. There we go. All right. Ooh, I don't remember how the lace was on that one. Started this wrong. These need to go from inside to outside. All right. Got that wrong. This one needs to go over the other one. I hate that one there. Not right. All right, there we go. There we go. Finishing up, almost done. Just gotta get the lace back up, and we'll be, I believe, finished with this set of skates. I think that'll be about it I'm trying to do. I do need to look to see how she had the end, because one of these was inside and then outside on the last two. All right, so this one's gonna go in, back out, and then through the ankle support right there. There we go. Same thing as this one. In, back out to the ankle support strap. There we go. And one. Second and last one to get laced up. A little bit easier just because this one already had the ends of the laces. Still good. How does it happen? How does that wrap around the other skate? I don't even know how that happens. Get that roll. There we go. Nice and flat. Laces even. Trying to remember to actually have which one's going over top of the other one, because do it wrong and then you just notice it just kind of stands out. That one lace is, the left was over the right and then the right was over the left, or vice versa, and it's just not even. And it's just like, ooh. And then you just do that, which is completely wrong. All right, well, now that we've finished this up, skates are pretty much back to where they need to be. We started with a set of skates. It's probably been about 6 months since the last time they were cleaned. So we started with taking the laces off, taking the wheels off, separating the bearings from the wheels. And then once we got everything separated, we started with getting the bearings out. Taking the bearings, we also took the covers of the bearings off. All right, in, I remember in and then back out. Got the bearings in a sonic cleaner with some distilled water. That one's busted, isn't it? Yeah, it is. With some distilled water, a little bit of dish soap. Put those in for 30 minutes, took them out, sprayed the water off, did a quick soaking in some isopropyl alcohol, sprayed that off, and then put a couple coats of a nice bearing oil on them to get them nice and smooth. Put everything back together. We also took the boot, we put some leather conditioner on the boot. Leather conditioner on the boot, nice and smooth now, won't crack. We also redid the laces on this pair to fix the end of it so it wasn't all frayed. Washed the wheels, and then put everything back together. So I think now, overall, they're nice and clean. Other than the scuff marks and stuff like that, I think they look pretty good for being however many years old. Not sure how old these skates are, but they're a few years old, I'm sure. They look pretty good. A little bearing spin test. See how long they spin for. Very good. All right. With that, all we had, a little T-handle, skate handle. We had a bearing puller. Have this little nubby wrench and everything like that I use to pop the bearings back in. A couple dental picks. To pull out the covers on the bearings. A couple brushes. Some isopropyl alcohol. Some glass cleaner. Q-tips. A few other essentials of getting skates all cleaned up. So I think with that, we're going to close out the stream now that the skates are all nice and clean. Appreciate everybody checking in and commenting.